one more speech before the coffee break. And here we have a small switch. Now we will talk about the fireside chat, engineering the AI factory, enabling scalable information and intelligent systems. We have a conversation between Thomas Kitzler, Sales Director, EMA at Amber AI and Data Science Solution. Moderator is Tarry Singh, CEO at DIPCA. This panel explores how to build a foundational infrastructure, the AI factory, needed to scale intelligent systems from experimentation to enterprise deployment. The conversation will highlight how robust infrastructure, automation, and cross-functional collaboration enable faster innovation, operational efficiency, and responsible AI at scale. Okay, Thomas and Terry, please go on stage.
Okay. Oh, I'm already live. Okay, so I'll go down again.
Give them about 5 minutes or something, and Maria is managing everything very slowly.
Are we waiting for someone? Okay, sure. Oh.
Nein, ich habe sie nicht gesehen. Ich habe schon die Tafelchen, dass ich in 5 Minuten komme.
Sorry, may I ask you to start your presentation? Thank you.
All right. Okay. So good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. We were just having a little bit of a chat with all the gentlemen, including myself. You know, you need a coffee break. So when folks started walking out, I said, okay, hey, don't go. This is an exciting topic. My name is Terry. I'm CEO of DK AI Lab and Real AI. And Amber is coincidentally also our business partner. So I know Amber and Amber's team for a while. And Thomas, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Thomas, thank you so much for being for joining this wonderful fireside chat. And you and I had a discussion yesterday around designing data centers.
Yep.
But we have several issues in the data center. So welcome to this fireside chat. Me and Thomas, we're going to have an engaging discussion. I really want you to also participate in it. So let's take a seat, Thomas.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So, I mean, as you guys know, fireside chat is, no gloves. Gloves are off, and we're having an open discussion around data centers, right? So when we say we need to engineer a great data center, what we are actually saying is that we have a data center in place. There's all that infrastructure has been taken care of, and everything is ready. That's the easy part, I would say, right?
Yep. But we hardly never see this. So it's like we are already a long time in the business of generating data centers, and the times are now so dynamic, like never before. The generations that we are working hardly a lot together with NVIDIA hardware and supermarket hardware. The systems are evolving so fast now, so the data centers have to change really also in the same pace or even faster to accommodate the new infrastructure, and that's a very interesting time at the moment. So a lot of changes in there, and yeah, so that's where we are working on.
And just from a practical perspective, so Amber AI, it's a very nimble firm. I know that's why we work with you guys.
Yep.
Because hardware business is complicated, especially in the field of AI. When I have a chat with my colleagues at Amber, I say I need this hardware, I need it to be custom built, or I need it to be retrofitted. It's impossible for me to talk to bigger players like HP or Dell. First of all, the volumes that we are looking for are not that as huge. But the red tape and the bureaucracy is a problem. But having said that, there is a tectonic shift happening at several levels, right? There are some places in Europe, there are still leases being renewed, so that's a real estate issue. And then there are other places where you have to retrofit and transform.
Yep.
On HPC. The ones people were building back in the 70s and the 80s in Europe. And there are many data centers around, and Atos and Evident, they keep supplying them with the same, hardware. So there you have to reconfigure how you're going to put those cages and build those, huge. And I see that the NVIDIA boxes specifically are 6U. They're not those pizza boxes, those thin ones, because you need to cool these boxes. So what is the challenge that you guys are facing, or you guys are hearing from customers, data center owners, or large customers like Siemens or Schaeffler, and many of these big players, they want to make things happen fast.
Yep.
So engineering is nice, but moving fast to retrofit AI ready. How do you make them AI ready?
That's a good question, and it's as I said, it's a very demanding task, to be honest. So of course there are the new fancy data centers where you just plug and play the new hardware, and it fits perfectly, and it was built for this. But as you also mentioned, these are very rarely situated in Germany or in the DACH region. So what we do is very often we're facing customers which have full data centers with HPC history. So most of them are not liquid cooled ready, they are air cooled ready, they are full, they are maybe in the basement where you have to get up some stairs with the big boxes. And and the new machines for AI training or AI inference, they are like heavy. They are energy demanding. They are generating noise. They are generating heat, and you have to get rid of this stuff. And what we see is like to fit this into the old-fashioned HPC centers, it's nearly impossible, or it's really a huge task that you have to do. On the one side, if there is place, then it's okay. But what we also see is that these basement data centers are fully equipped already with equipment. So to generate a new data center, it's not just you don't go out on the street and you buy a new one, and it's 2 weeks later it's there. So you have to really, it lasts like 2, 3, 4, 5 years until it's there. And then what do you do in between? Yeah. So the thing that we are offering here is also to transform during this time of like to use a containerized solution to make some kind of intermediate data center, which is actually very fast to deploy, and normally you can really tailor it down to your needs. This is one big thing, and as I mentioned before, the generations now, the last generations from NVIDIA are the big ones, the DGXs, they are the last ones which are air cooled. So then liquid cooling is the way to be, or the future. So everybody has to change his cooling strategy, and that's going to be definitely a big task for the future here.
So you have to innovate a lot, and I think I'm just looking at the audience here as well, and just getting a bit of a raise of hand to get more participation as well, to see how are just a raise of hand, how many people are actively involved or interested in what's happening in the data center world? And the reason I'm asking this is very important. I mean, very important, yes. And I think we should say that to the people also outside, because they need to listen. So to me, the next big question is, as we have several discussions regarding, creating custom, let's say, solution. So because cost is a big problem as well, I think. I'm not sure when you're talking about, there is a sort of very simple narrative that about 150 megawatts costs you $1 billion or euros, but sometimes customers may have small needs. So my question to you is, in how much are customers thinking in terms of energy, because you want to create an intelligent platform, but there is also some, let's say, regulatory concern regarding you cannot expand beyond a certain footprint. So how are you solving those problems?
It's a good question. It's not, most of the time it's not on our table to solve these problems, because the customers have to solve it, and we are deploying the machines there. But that's a big point, is to be energy efficient, to be efficient in this. We just recently have had a talk with a customer, or probable customer in Germany, and they are not the typical data center providers. They are coming from a completely different vertical. So they are actually energy providers, and now are moving into the data center topic. And what their history is quite interesting, because they've got the energy. So they are searching. They have already. They have everything in terms of energy and land and the backing from the government, and of course they are searching customers. They are of course searching the right way to install the data center, but they have the energy problem.
They have the know-how.
They have the know-how to build these things, and also to sell it in terms of economical and energy optimized solutions, which is, I think it's coming more from this direction, because they understand their ecosystem on this side quite well.
So data center is one, but so we're having several discussions with data center owners, and that's a weird discussion for us to have. We're a software company ourselves, because it's saying, okay, that's either a real estate or building a data center problem. But what I'm increasingly seeing is that, and this is a problem also in other parts of the world, including Middle East, is no one has figured out an ROI. Mm-hmm. So it's great to spend a lot of money, and especially in this world of AI, So we tend to get questions for which we say, okay, please listen, we don't know. You can ask our partner Amber or other players in the field to understand data center. So how much discussion are you having on that side as well? That we will spend 20 million, but we also, like for example, this energy provider as well.
Yeah.
They're saying, okay, I can spend a lot of money, but how am I going to make money out of these systems?
That's also a very good question again. The example from the energy provider is a very good example because they are searching for the guy who is then running the data center is really selling and renting it out and maintaining the data center. So it's the entire food chain, if you want the supply chain, if you want to really see it as a complete chain, it's quite interesting to really cover everything, every bit of it. And again, we are then a little bit reliant also on the customer to have a good idea where he wants to place his data center in terms of business. And if he wants to rent it out as one data center to one customer, if he wants to have some kind of a dispersed customer base, then so it's not that easy to really make out a ROI out of it and to make the calculation already up front. So in this case, they have everything in place, but the customer is base or the customer is not really figured out already. So if anybody wants to get into this data center, just ping me. They are happy to have some customers.
Oh, so exactly. So this is a really interesting discussion, and I think I was talking to one of my colleagues as well at the back yesterday as well regarding, where is the use case? And the use case is a big issue. While I think software companies like us, we have so many use cases, we don't know where to fit them. So we are looking for data center owners, and data center owners are looking for use cases.
Yep.
I'm not sure how much time do we have. I want to engage the crowd early. Because fireside chat is nice. You and I will talk nice things. You and I spoke about a couple of things, really hardcore things yesterday.
Yep.
We decided not to talk about that because then it would become a shit show. And as in terms of the importance and the need for having data centers, I meant as a challenging statement, because Europe is struggling in terms of capitalization of these data centers, while Europe with 500+ million people and tens of thousands of large and medium enterprise companies are all subscribing to external data centers outside Europe. So the question regarding the data center or how to build intelligent systems, are there questions you want to challenge us? I have also some experience and background in this. So we are happy to get you included into this conversation. Maybe we can start passing the mic around and challenge us, ask us difficult questions. Because if you're not asking trying to answer difficult questions, then we are trying to play nice with each other. While your software companies, your software developers, and you need to also have your questions answered, or at least addressed. So let's go. Who's the first? Who wants to go? Yes, that's it. Let's do it.
Hi. So my question is, now this year in 2025, we've basically shifted in generative AI towards inference. So the cost of AI is coming from inferencing, right? Not from teaching the models mainly.
Yep.
And simultaneously, of course, we see that services like ChatGPT by OpenAI, they charge exorbitant prices to the end users, right? So I think it's at the moment it's unclear whether the actual generative AI services are providing enough value to the end users or companies with justifying the investments. So how do you see that, and how do you see that developing? Let's say in 2026, for example. What are your takes on that?
It's absolutely on point what you're saying. It's like we also see, we just recently had a customer talk, and they said the time for easy spending money is over. Now everybody, the management wants to see the ROI, wants to see the use cases flying, and that's going to be, I think that's we always talked in the last years about ramping up the business, investing, and now the harvest time should be here. And I see a lot of use cases now flying quite well. We have really a nice use case in Switzerland. It's called Lightly, and they are like they are really already getting out a good return of investment, because the data creation strategy is quite, it's very important for doing the correct AI business at the training afterwards. So that's absolutely mind-blowing what their model and their training facilities are getting out. And so I think the use cases, they really have are deciding now if you make it or if you not make it in the next year. And just to have the AI machine in the basement and to see, yeah, it's making noise and it's heating up the basement floor. I think that's this time is over, and we also see it on the business side. It's of course, some companies are investing more because they have their use cases. Others are now like in a flat base and try to figure out what to do with it. And 2026 is, I think, one of these, how to say, the deciding moment for many companies if they really rise, or if they live it, or if they really succeed in it, or others they may again do another loop of finding the use cases, which we I think heard already 10,000 times that a lot of these use cases are struggling. Why? Of course, there's everybody wants to do something in AI and has to do it, because if you don't have it on the marketing slide, you're completely off. But even just the marketing slide itself doesn't help at all. So same for us as a company, as Amber. We also, of course, we are not purchasing the big ones because we are not this big company, but just recently the DGX box are released by NVIDIA, which is a small system, a developer system, and we also want to use it for our own, to really get value out of it, to be not just selling the stuff, but also using the stuff on a different level, definitely. But you can't do anything. I think we saw already today, Nestle announced that 16,000 people are getting laid off in the next 2 years, mainly in the offices. So I think there's a huge potential on AI to streamline these processes and to get value out of that.
You know, you have a follow-up question?
No, thank you.
I think this is these are really important questions, guys, because and so yes, please, yeah, wonderful.
Thank you for your chat. First of all, my question is regarding the US and Europe. Like we see a big gap there now, and maybe can you say the gap is already so huge that the race is already over, or is there a chance for Europe companies or data centers in Europe?
We yesterday had a chat outside at the coffee table, and I don't want to repeat your sentences. It's like it would be too negative, I think. But it was like, or too realistic, I don't know. We saw it. It's a really a severe situation, I think. So the investments that we didn't do in the past years, I think the governments and the companies, they really have to do some steps now, because otherwise you see the numbers which US is investing or has invested in GPUs, and if you compare it to the German or Austrian or DACH market that we see quite well, it's like that the numbers don't even compare nearly, and it's getting. We had one project last year in the pipeline, or which was actually a huge one. It was a governmental funded thing in Germany, but then the government somehow broke up, and since then it's like it's going flat. So the decisions are very slow. I think the US is moving much faster here, but even though there is some investment, I think you also explained it yesterday, there is something which is going on, but definitely it could be much more. Yeah. We are seeing a lot of, it's called super pods, like the big installations. We see them picking up in Eastern Europe a lot. There's a lot of more investments and movement. Maybe it's faster, maybe it's easier to invest there. That's picking up, I think, but definitely we have to shift into the next gear in the DACH region to not completely lose the race, as you said.
Yeah.
I don't know, you see those
Very good question. I will probably summarize because I want to hear you guys, and I will summarize. Again, this was a super important question. Inferencing is actually related to, so inferencing can come if this question is answered. So I'm connecting the dots, and I will try to do a small summary and be a positively outlooking summary, but still give some anecdotal examples of why we have, how I wouldn't go into how we have ended in Europe in this situation, but the escape path of why. Wonderful questions. These are really awesome ones, guys. More? Are they, yeah, so here? Wonderful, here. This is actually becoming very engaging because I'm learning so much from you guys as well.
It works? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the question is sometimes I talk to some customers and they have some regulations against even being in the cloud, okay, but they want AI, okay? So, and it prevents them to put their important, let's say, projects and information in production because their production should be on premises, a lot of insurances and in these fields. And they have this hope that soon they will host their models internally, okay? I'm not sure, especially after you talked about cooling systems, I'm pretty sure that their data center even doesn't have proper air cooling, okay? So how realistic you see in the early future, 2026, that maybe even the architecture of the models and the hardware can let them to have these models that are only available, this power is available only in the cloud to have in their data centers.
Yeah.
This is something that I need to know because maybe in their plan they can start developing now and then maybe put it in production in 2 years. This is something that helps me. Thank you.
To get the full power without liquid cooling into your data center, I think it's not going forward. So you can't manage it without. If you want to train your models, then you need big machines, big VRAMs, and this won't be able without the liquid cooling. But on the other side, if you look at the performances, which are smaller cards already giving you on the inference side, I think that's already a big step forward with lower energy footprint and lower investment. So I think it's the slogan that already has been said 100,000 times. So if you spend something more, I think it was by Jensen from NVIDIA, he said, if you spend more, then you get more, you earn more. And in this case, it's like if you get onto the newest versions of the GPUs, then you really are capable to already get much more power or much more results in terms of tokens out of your system with lower energy footprint. And that's something which I think in the inference side will be definitely changing in the next year and will be making it possible for the users to get their own language modeling and inferencing into their own data centers. But the training on the big machines, that's definitely there you have to invest into liquid cooling and go big.
So as I know, none of them require to have their training. So they want to just have LLM to create AI-enabled applications. Almost no one even wants fine-tuning.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this scenario, what do you think?
I think it's possible. Definitely, if you're just inferencing, and then definitely you can go on a smaller system, and this is definitely capable on a air-cooled basis still in 2026.
I see. Thank you.
Again, a really awesome question. These three are actually so usefully interconnected, and actually explain the dilemma of every enterprise that even our partners that I talk with. More. Let's get one more. Marcus.
So Terry, since you're in the software business a lot as well, And we've seen a lot of investment in hardware in the last years, and the race is on, etc. So someone's investing in building blocks, I would say, which is not the end product. The end product is use case applications that someone needs to buy. Do you see an increasing willingness for customers to spend money on the increasing availability of AI solutions that are very specific for certain applications or verticals already, or is that still in the middle of being formed? What's your view on this?
All right. So that's again a fourth and a useful question as well. So there is this, existential question. Then there is this question of actual, let's say, stage one, train, builds, and become superpower. But stage two is fine. We don't want to play with the superpower. Well, let's be the super second middle power and be the inferencing champions. And then deciding on sovereign AI, meaning can I do my AI inside my little data room if I get one cage of 4 boxes versus 200 DGX Sparks to be able to inference within my 3,000 employee base on this HR application, this procurement application, legal contract, OCR reading, and I'm just thinking in terms of use cases, which most customers and my partners tell me is there are a lot of questions and a lot of need for automation. Even in industries where and I will give you an example of an industry where I said I would never want to do business in this industry because I come from that industry in education sector. I used to be an academic 15 years ago. Even there, you are seeing the need for automation to create education programs by educators and then allow students to learn in an interactive way to be able to do their assignments faster. I would have never imagined that they would say, Terry, can you help us actually design this with autonomous or agentic AI? So these are boring industries. Another boring industry is oil and gas, which was, again, for us a coincidence to get into because I have a few geophysicists and geoscientists working for me. So the question came that, and oil and gas is, again, a very boring and a conservative industry. They will never change their way of using, they have their typical tools from service providers. I don't know if anyone is in this energy field. So let's say the Atos and Capgeminis for oil and gas are Schlumberger and Baker Hughes, and these are massive, Halliburton. These are massive companies who make a lot of money selling them 20-year-old software because that's the best way to keep them in their, embrace. So the use cases are a lot, Marcus. The problem is, I don't think we should tell or talk to customers saying, I have an AI application. I think the question should be, within this small group, team of people, we can help you automate processes and show them. So we speak to many small and mid-sized companies who have, like you mentioned the name of this company,
yep.
And you were worrying about them that will they make it or will they break it. There are a lot of these custom solutions. So I really hope that, and I was speaking to NVIDIA yesterday from the Netherlands, and the sad part is they shared the same frustration. So for NVIDIA, when they say buy the latest B300 because that's best, it does save you some money, and maybe you will do 10x inferencing, for example, in terms of using a V100. What was that? A long time ago? Before A100.
It was, I don't know.
V100. Imagine we were even forgotten. That's just 3 years ago. And so faster. So obviously for them, the better chips, and they cost a lot. So that's very prohibitive because it's important. It's impossible for customers to say, I will buy 600,000 euros times 3 these machines, and you still have to find talent and solve those problems. So I think, Marcus, the dilemma is to create a connecting layer. And NVIDIA was showing me yesterday in a call that if that substrate is provided to all entrepreneurs, small, medium-sized, and vendors who are creating these applications. And on that substrate, it could be a data center or the AI factory, as they call it in Europe. From there, you can sell your services by reducing your cost dramatically and say, okay, for $20 or 20 euros per month per user, they will be able to do X, Y, or Z. So I think that cost and solution specific, let's say, pitch for these application developers is more important than trying to worry about everything like we used to worry. Hardware, I mean, I need to buy a DGX. No, you don't need to buy DGX Tarry. You just need to keep building your application based on the existing stacks. And if there is a sovereign AI solution, if you have a generative AI model which you can actually put into the basement of this company and still put your application on top of it, test it to see, okay, let's pilot it for 100 users, and then have a vendor where you say, I can scale as I grow, meaning you can then add layers of, that is a better way to actually make them grow. It's a long answer to what you're asking. So the use cases are in abundance. I'm also equally concerned, as Thomas mentioned, that when we talk to those entrepreneurs, they're still in the same place. So somehow, I think we need to get them out and have these X number of applications on a certain platform, which allows vendors like you to sell to that one specific big, let's say, giant pool, and for entrepreneurs and small and medium-sized companies like ourselves to say, I want to showcase this application to 5,000 users next week in Dubai because I'm doing a workshop for 1 full week. How much is it going to cost me? These are the questions I have, because there's a lot of demand. I was in Warsaw 2 days ago, and there are 30,000 students who said, we like to use your EdTech, the agentic AI application. Then I'm thinking, okay, 30,000, I have a DGX in our own data center in the Netherlands, but yeah, if there is concurrency beyond maybe 30, the reasoning model or you know, for example, we have many functions where users can do right-click and then speak to the course curriculum. What is this? I don't understand what's written. Can you explain it to me like a 5-year-old, or explain it to me in the Marvel comic style? Why this? What is this? But the thing is, so this reasoning has to go into the GPU for inferencing. If there are 50 people asking different questions, then it becomes a problem. So you have to find distributed computing, but you cannot distribute it beyond one box. Okay, you can distribute it on each GPU. That's what we are doing right now. But okay, if you have 20,000 people using it, each GPU, even if it's an 80 gig box, it'll struggle. So there's a lot of problems which we understand as the manufacturers of hardware or people who spend some time in that industry. But I think AI applications are a lot, actually a lot. And custom specific are also quite a few, which allows customers to say, I like this. I don't need email creating, letter creating application. I don't need that. I have a problem with my workflow within claims processing or in mortgage advisory or in credit scoring. Can you help me with this? There's a lot of busy use case. Every bank, and I'm sitting with a large bank in a few minutes, I have to leave. And there I have to explain the same things to them as well. So there is a lot of need, and there are a lot of answer to those needs from application stack. And now we are connecting to bring the hardware players to, and I will have this difficult conversation with you as well, because I asked you, Thomas, I said, okay, we need to run this application. This bank also has tens of thousands of employees across many countries. And then I want you to tell me that $20 per month, I can give you that, Terry.
But we have to talk later about the use case that you just mentioned, about the bigger DGX that you need, I think.
Yeah.
So,
thank you so much.
yeah?
Yeah, we need
Awesome.
to ramp up now. So thank you so much for a great conversation and for questions. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Terry. And now we have a coffee break. So after a coffee break, we have another round of presentations. So
Awesome.
25 minutes of coffee, and
Thank you very much for coming and with
Thank
your
you.
interesting questions. I know our friend from Atos is also here. You know, it's my ex-employer. So we've done. So let's have this conversation and keep this running. Thank you very much,
Thank you very
Thomas.
much. If there are some questions left, we've got a booth outside.
Yes.
Just pass by. We are happy to help you and further discussions
please come
there.
to the booth and let's talk about user applications. Thank you. Thanks everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.